Her Excellency, the Governor General, Dame Cecil Grenada, my colleague, Minister of Government, Mr. Yolan Bain Hosford, Minister of Sports, Culture and the Arts, Fisheries and Cooperatives, Commissioner of Police, Edward Morton, Chairman of the National Celebration Committee, John Williams, Reverend Joachim Philip of the Alliance of Evangelical Churches, distinguished members of the Grenada Police Force, members of the media, fellow Grenadians, friends and sisters and brothers of the diaspora, and of course, friends of Grenada. Good morning to all. Today, sisters and brothers, represents yet another momentous occasion in our country's history. As we celebrate 48 years as an independent nation, notwithstanding the bumps along the road that threatened to derail our progress, our beloved country has recorded many milestones in the past 4 decades. Therefore, there is much to be proud of as we approach our half-century as a nation. Despite the present extensive impact of COVID-19, which is intensifying the usual developmental challenges that small island developing states face, we are indeed well poised to continue our upward trajectory of growth and advancement for our people. Sisters and brothers all, as you are well aware, the development gains that we are currently enjoying did not come easily. The road has been fraught with trials and tribulations. But time and time again, we have overcome, rising triumphantly over impediments and continuing our march forward. In the true spirit of our ancestors who fought many battles to lay the foundation upon which we build today, Grenadians have repeatedly proven that we are a resilient people who have no qualms about showcasing these admirable qualities. In fact, the pandemic has forced us now more than ever to demonstrate how resilient we truly are. My dear sisters and brothers, our children have been the hardest hit by this pandemic. Their young lives, unimaginably absurd by the changes necessary to fight COVID-19, we know that they have gone through a lot. the advances in modern technology, and the provision of electronic devices by government allowed for the option of online learning. But there is really nothing, sisters and brothers, to adequately replace valuable face-to-face instructional times for young people and our young, impressionable minds. In addition to the significant learning loss, our young boys and girls have been deprived of the social interaction that is so necessary to foster good human relations. We just need to reflect, sisters and brothers, on our own childhood and how we valued meeting our friends at school and participating in various sporting and leisurely activities. To be able to understand how much of a disadvantage this pandemic has created for young brothers and sisters. Therefore, today, I ask that you join me in praying for young brothers and sisters, that they may recover from this immeasurable loss, because you are never young more than once. Let us also recommit ourselves as adults to being more empathetic rather than judgmental. They may not always obey our command with respect to the present pandemic, but it's important for us to understand what they are losing and the problems that they are facing. My friends, we all face the physical threat of this viral infection. And many of our brothers and sisters have succumbed to its deadly grasp. Many others have to contend with being stripped of their livelihood as the severity of the pandemic has crippled some sectors of our economy. At the national level, had it not been for government prudent fiscal management and the sacrifices of you, the people of this country, the impact of the pandemic could have been even more detrimental. However, almost 2 years to this day, when the pandemic first reached our shores, we persevere, confident that this too shall pass. Sisters and brothers, for yet another year, COVID-19 has caused our independence celebrations to be a mere fraction of its usual flamboyance, a bittersweet reality, but an absolutely necessary one, as we adhere to the established protocols which discourage mass gatherings to minimize the spread of infections and the available possible costs. Although physical distance has become the new norm, we are perpetually united through our patriotism an unrelenting love for this beautiful country we call our home. So today, while you are not physically present here, showcasing our splendid national colors, I know that Grenadians far and wide share a palpable love for home, a bond that transcends all differences, particularly on occasions like this, when the love of country is the language we all speak. Sisters and brothers, despite the dark cloud of the pandemic that continues to hover our country, and in fact the entire world, we look to the future with hope, and we embrace the decisions that will facilitate the best possible outcomes for all our people. But at the same time, we know that this must be underpinned by concrete actions that will transition hope from a desire into reality. This is why we are concerned about the level of vaccine hesitancy that exists throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We believe in the science and remain optimistic that vaccination and achieving herd immunity will help bring an end to this health crisis. We will therefore continue to advocate for vaccination. But ultimately, fellow Grenadians, there is only so much the government can do or say. What we need more than ever is a solid partnership. Government and people working side by side as we seek to overcome this adversity, safeguarding lives and livelihoods, and creating a legacy for future generations. The fallout created by the pandemic has increased the onus on government to provide economic relief and social welfare programs to ease the burden of impact on our people. Historically, we are a people-oriented center government, but the reality of the pandemic has compelled us to demonstrate even more our genuine love for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Naturally, it is a difficult time for government to be called upon to do more, particularly as it faces, at the same time, a reduction in revenue when compared to pre-pandemic times. However, government is committed to ensuring that our most vulnerable citizens are not further marginalized by the impact of this relentless pandemic. Sisters and brothers, that is why government has embarked on a COVID-19 economic stimulus support programs, which have benefited thousands of Grenadians through grant support payments unemployment benefits, enhanced social protection initiatives, and improve access to funding for small businesses, among others. The first stimulus package, announced in March 2020, benefited over 6,000 Grenadians, including 147 businesses. Several categories of workers benefited from those measures, including bus owners, taxi and tour operators and tour guides, tourists and market vendors, hairdressers and barbers, small travel agents, members of the marine, dive and yachting sectors, hotel and apartment owners, and restaurant and bar owners, among others. Additionally, direct assistance was provided to 44 late workers who lost their jobs, 120 aviation services employees, and 244 Royalton employees in September 2021. Recognizing the continued economic uncertainty and extended adverse impact created by the pandemic, government still initiated and implemented a second series of economic stimulus support measures. Today, more than 3,000 Grenadians have received $13.1 million in benefits through various initiatives, including one, income and payroll support to 1,100 beneficiaries. 2, unemployment assistance close to 800 persons. 3, support for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, more than 200 beneficiaries. And fourthly, seed payments benefiting 1,105 persons. Sisters and brothers, we are still in the early stages of implementation, with additional incentives and initiatives that will come on stream this year, including expansion of the Youth Entrepreneurship Program and Internet connectivity programs. In addition to these economic stimulus measures, government announced in the 2022 budget a number of initiatives intended to provide further relief for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. In December last, police officers, frontline health workers, and those who face the threat of COVID-19 infection directly by virtue of their jobs received an additional month's pay, while other public officers receive additional half month's pay. In addition, a cap of $15 have been implemented on the price of gasoline. By that action, government is therefore absorbing anything in excess of this. And with the recent spike in gasoline prices, in all prices internationally, government is going to bear the brunt of more of those support. Government has also taken a decision to zero rate VAT on domestic electricity consumption of up to 500 kilowatt hours, and also remove the environmental levy for this same category of consumers. Furthermore, there has been a 25% reduction in non-fuel charge per kilowatt hour. Also, effective January this year, government also removed VAT on 5 additional food items. Sisters and brothers, these initiatives are deliberately wide-ranging to ensure that they impact as many Grenadians as possible. Some may call it gimmick. A gimmick if you're all right, but very, very serious support for those in need, especially in these times. Sisters and brothers, these are tough times. But it's important for us to demonstrate that we love and care for the people of this beautiful country of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. By finding any way, however small, to provide relief and shine a ray of hope in this otherwise dark period. Sisters and brothers, government is doing a lot, but we must also give credit to the value of partnerships, which constitute another important pillar of national development. Partnerships among stakeholders, partnerships among interest groups, partnerships among regional entities, partnerships with international development organizations. Government's ongoing collaboration, sisters and brothers, with the social partners, the recent signing of a 5-year sustainable development framework with the United Nations, and a long-standing relationship with St. George's University are among the top examples of meaningful partnership that now exist. It's therefore important for me to highlight that partnership with St. George's University, which, as you know, constitute in normal times 25% of the GDP of our country. And that partnership is helping to truly transform our country and our people through both employment and education. St. George's University continues to play a very meaningful and valuable role in the Grenadian community and lives. Specifically, I want to commend the SGU for the commitment to further improve access to tertiary education under the new arrangement, which will be signed shortly, by providing more medical and undergraduate scholarships to Grenadians. As part of the new negotiated agreement that I held with the university officials, SGU has agreed to advance a grant of $30 million based on recent changes to its equity holdings. It must be remembered on the last occasion, 10 years ago that $5 million US was granted. Today, 30 million US. That's over $80 million, sisters and brothers, in our currency. In addition, SU has been a faithful friend of Grenada throughout the pandemic, bolstering our medical supplies and collaborating with our health team. Going forward under the new arrangement, SU has also agreed to pay 2 clinical and 1 public health staff officials to complement the services provided by our hospitals. They have also agreed that technical and clinical staff members attached to the university will give part-time support services on a weekly basis to the hospital services and medical services throughout the length of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Sisters and brothers, therefore, as we look to the future, we must continuously set our sights on overcoming the adversities that threaten to derail our developmental agenda, safeguarding the livelihoods of our people as they seek to empower themselves, and protecting our collective future to conscientious decision-making. Government, by virtue of its mandate to lead, commits to doing so in the best interests of all Grenadians, but also seeks the support of everyone as together we steer the ship of development towards a future of a shared vision. Therefore, I urge one and all to embrace the call for unity as the beacon that will successfully guide this ship, our beloved nation, towards sustainable development. My friends all, our annual independence celebrations provided an opportunity to showcase our national pride. And it is therefore quite fitting that I use the occasion to inform you that government is planning to embark on an initiative that would more accurately reflect and represent who we are as a people. We are therefore considering a serious proposal from the Grenada National Reparations Committee, led by Brother Arlie Gill, to spearhead the research and make recommendations for the remaining of a number of places and sites in honor of our 50th anniversary independence celebrations in 2024. This initiative, sisters and brothers, will bring monumental change to the national landscape and give greater recognition to the many well-deserving Grenadians who have served us so well in the past and continued, in some cases, to serve us today. We anticipate that it will also help to engender an even greater feeling of national pride among Grenadians, and would also serve as a reminder to our young brothers and sisters of what can be achieved through hard work and dedication. On this note, my dear friends all, let me again say, Happy Independence to all. I pray that God continues to richly bless all our people, uniting us in our patriotism to this beautiful land of ours, called Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Remember that I love you all, and I encourage all of you to be safe and continue adhering to the COVID-19 protocols. Thank you all.